Today is the 12th of April 2024. Yesterday evening was an irritating one. I need to explain that. So firstly we had loud bikes tying to erections, tying to impulses, tying to itchy bumhole, tying to your willy bell end itching, and going to the toilet. Timed wanking and coming at all stages. Wanking, jerking cum, coming, shooting, you name it. They've been timing a loud bike, at least 6 times loud. So get past that. When we reach somewhere around about 8:30 in the evening, we get ear-shattering loud bikes tying to an erections up to 10 times loud. When I went to have a smoke out the window, all 3 times I went out the window to have a smoke, there was a 8 times loud bike tying to an erection, followed by a ha 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 by a seagull or crow, and a car being tied over a drain cover when I'm looking out the window. Cars and motorbikes have been revving to say, we're going to smash you in, going to beat you up, going to knife you down, you raped Sadie Dando, you raped Ian Dando, you're a child molester, just, you're having your life taken, just, you're being shot dead, just, and just a whole load of things like that being repeatedly revved, no less than about 300 times in total for that evening. When we come to the early hours, we're late night, just before the early hours, say about, I don't know really, a bit earlier than that actually, about 11 PM to midnight, ear-shattering loud bikes, especially at 11 PM and 23:24 PM. So that's the same number, by the way, so I'm just saying it in a different way. So 23 means the same as 11, but PM means at night, AM means in the morning, obviously you know that. So I get past all that, wake up in the night to go to the toilet, time to an erection, loud bike, time pissing, loud bike, waking up for the day, there's been about 250 loud bikes tying to erections, or time going to the toilet, and again wanking and coming for the second time. When I get past all that, cars are revving and motorbikes are revving, the same as what I just mentioned this morning as well. But today seems to be mostly molested Ian Dando, or digging on sexuality to say you're being beat up just, or stuff like that. Now there's something I want to say about the problem with the fist, is fights are no longer safe. So if someone throws a fist at you, you've got to be prepared to play murder. I know this sounds horrible, I know this sounds dangerous, but we are living in a different time. So if someone's going to fight you, you've got to be prepared. So what happens usually in a modern fight, by 80 to 90% of people that fight, obviously if they're at school or college, it's slightly different, they still fight in the irrational old way. Either way, people carry weapons anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. So it's probably just as nasty there these days, but I'm not aware of that, and I haven't seen any information or read any information regarding modern fights in schools and colleges. I only know about the fights that occur in the street. So what happens with a fight nowadays, if someone says, I'm going to beat you up, I'm going to fucking smash you out, I'm going to fist fight you, or bash your brains out, what usually happens is if someone starts losing that fight, a knife usually comes out and it's smashed right into that other person's face to defeat the fight. And then the other person gets a knife out and it goes into a severe knife fight where someone ends up on the floor and in hospital. But the one that gets knocked down is then injected with weed killer or rat poison to finish his life completely. Depending on the person who's fighting, it could be alternative substance where you could live, but you're dead anyway. So you've had a hired gun, you've been killer bead off by the means of using a HIV syringe, or a needle that's filled or with blood and HIV basically, that's injected into you. So that's the issue of last night and this morning. Going out hasn't been too bad initially. There's just a Tesco's van, followed by a Tesco's van, a Tesco's van, then a row of black sick and black white cars, and then the same timed and angled around at me, with drain covers hit over, a cell call at me, 2 people trying to sneeze and cough in my face, sneezes, sorry. 1 person trying to cough shortly after that. But before that, there's more cars hit over a drain cover and a couple of cars that were colliding on the bridge. But it hasn't been that heavy at the moment. The other thing I was going to say is, when it comes to this loud bike issue, we've got the hot sunny weather. It's 26 degrees Celsius in my kitchen. Outside I'd say it's about roughly, I guess, around about 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. I don't know the exact temperature. So that's that. But the problem we have here is they are doing what they did last year. They're waiting for that warmer weather to come, and as soon as that warm weather comes, they know that people get erections more frequently. So they've been timing a loud bike timed to an erection with roughly 500 in total between yesterday and today, counting the bikes that have occurred since I've been out as well, which is not really that many considering it was mostly before I went out. So that's that. Last year they broke the record of 6 weeks of over 1,000 loud bikes tied to an erection every day, apart from roughly 4 days in the whole of that 6 weeks. But they were also increasing lookalikes to people that sexually abused me as a child, on top of loud bikes being tied to an erection. So the loud bike tied to the erection is there regardless, but timing lookalikes to people that sexually abused me as a child, timed to getting a boner, they needed to increase the setups of doing that as well, knowing it's hot weather or warmer weather where erections occur. So I wanted to mention that as well. As far as animal voice sounds go, or anything like that, dogs barking or seagulls saying, it's pretty nasty actually. There's been roughly about 250 voice sounds since yesterday. And the stuff, all the content is basically, you're a child rapist, Justin, you're being knife dead, you raped girls, Justin, or you raped Sadie, Justin, you raped Stephanie, Justin, you've shagged Amy Weston, Justin, you're going to the fire of hell after death, Justin, you're having a break-in, Justin, you raped her, you're a paedophile, Justin, or pervert, said, or, and there's also been noises to say, or tell me to fuck specific names that I will not repeat. So yeah, you've had all that, and also seagulls, crows, birds, dog barks have been making sounds that can be clearly interpreted as you're being beat up, Justin, you're a child rapist, you lost your life, Justin, there's no one left, Justin, there's no sex, stuff like that. And like I said, roughly about 250 animal voice sounds in total, and that's all on the increase over the last couple of years. Right, last 5 minutes have been pretty bad actually, with black and blue cars sit quiet and increased the traffic on the road down below. But there's something I want to mention. This is the same car I saw yesterday. So someone's got like a white sticker in the car that's just a bit bigger than A5, or it could be A4, I don't know, but when looking at it from a distance, and it's got like a red circle with a line going through it, which is red, and saying no sex on the actual thing. But what happened then is they timed a van saying forever that followed directly after that. Right on the road ahead you've got a Tesco's delivery van. There seems to be a lot of those today, I've noticed. I don't know what the suggestion is there. I mean, you've got the Laura and the Suncurse, it's sunny, but it seems to be more of it than usual. And then a Mikado van. There was banging in sequence to threats last night, I forgot to mention that. As far as actual threats go, or anything like that, or remarks, there's pretty much, basically no threats. Yeah, it's just the sort of animal sounds that are coming out in that way in the car revs. So it was a good night. I don't think there actually was a threat. I can't remember there being any. There wasn't any threats this morning, so it was good there, but it's changeable because the night before that was a lot more different. Right, 2 people, bearded people with baseball caps have just started on me as they walked past, saying he's a fucking child rapist. I fucking beat him up. Said it in that term. Back in the 1990s people had rough accents, I agree with that, but it's a different type of rough. Nowadays it's more of a dry and sarcastic, snobby type of accent, but which, when that snobby accent occurs, it becomes a lot more nasty and a lot more threatening, and a much more aggressive, more pushy. So it's basically hard to describe. It's basically an accent where it gets you going. You know, you want to fucking give it some, mate. I'll get nasty. You know, I'm not fucking taking it. You know, I'll fucking break your bones. I'll break your fucking legs. It's that sort of accent. It's a bit more hardened in a toned up, dry and sarcastic, snobbery way. So it does irritate me when these sorts of threats occur, and that's what happened like just now. The day gets better. I've not started to walk. I've not even picked up the medication from the pharmacy, and I've got soaking wet feet because the grass has got dew all over it. My initial plan today wasn't actually to go where I am at the moment. I was going to go to Beamminster, which is the first time I would have been there for over a year. But because it's sunny, I've had to rearrange my schedule. I would have only gone there if it's sort of grey, cloudy or whatever, so that I could take a picture of a retake of an old streetlight. So it's not an important picture, but it would have been one I'd like to have retaken. But obviously it's blue skies and sunshine today. And in fact, the weather forecast did say there's going to be quite a lot of sun today, but they have said there's going to be a lot of cloud as well. Where they're a bit wrong, because it's actually blue skies and sunshine with no cloud. There's just been another Tesco delivery van pass. I don't know why they're suggesting that. They got no in advance technology to suggest that. Whatever it is, they can't be suggesting Laura or sex with Laura or someone who looks like Laura, because that's fallen through. Even though I'm cursed with the sun, and that specific painting of that lady that's shining the sun on the boy through her hand and posing with a sexual smooth body out of the sky, you know, and sexual lip pose. You know, where the boy's being cursed with the sun and the rain all around it. It can't be nothing to do with that. So I'm just trying to work out what the suggestion is, because there seems to be a lot of Tesco vehicles today. But anyway, I'll see where we go on that. I thought I'd mention this because although there might have been the occasional very rare cloudy rainy day, there hasn't actually been a full day where the sun hasn't come out at least once since 2021. Even if it's only been out a few seconds on maybe the wettest of days, there's still been sunshine. There hasn't been a full cloudy day or a rainy day where the sun hasn't peeked out at all since 2021. Right, we just had this happened. I was saying I want to tell you in a minute. I've had a photo taken of me, and then a phone call occurs. It's a cell call radiation. A crow says they'd meet child molester just. Molested, I can't say the name, but it's saying a name I'm not very happy about, which is a load of bullshit. A crow repeats no one left, Justin, you child molester, in a happy, yeah, type of way. Before I left, for the first time in over a year, I decided to pray to Christ to eliminate the animal voice sounds and the problems of the day. No matter what I've done in the past, all that happens is it increases the issue. So if you go to church or if you go to places that are religious, God will just insult you and cause these things to happen. Even while in church, throughout time, if you left the church, there's always people giving you threats. You're near enough getting attacked, and even in the church, there's a loud bike tied to an erection. I see you go ha 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 right over the church roof. It'd be like that. There's nothing you can do about it. The Creator's fucking fallen. The reason for this morning's prayer is to give it just one more chance to see if God really will help and eliminate the curse of animal voice sounds insulting me or telling me to fuck people that raped me as a child or whatever. But it looks like it's done absolutely nothing. There's a drum and bass documentary on YouTube from Good Looking Records. I did actually see it back in the 1990s, in about 1996, 1997 area, because it's on television, normal television channels, but there's one specific person that has his say on drum and bass, and he says this. He says, you have a mainstream of shitty, simplified and fucked up, mangled sounds that come out at you like a piece of shit out of a garbage can. Then he says, yes, unless you have what Bookham is playing, which is clean, fresh, intelligent, thought out melodies and pad patterns, and says something else. But what he's saying there is there's a couple of things that he could be complaining about. Obviously he's one that likes the type of happy hardcore stuff, I reckon, and they weren't playing happy hardcore. But then again, because of what he said regarding LTJ Bookham and saying about the fresh, intelligent, thought out, you know, whatever, he could be referring to, he's into sort of jump up drum and bass of the early stuff that came out that's fresher. And when he's saying mangled sounds and stuff like that, what he's referring to the dark jungle tracks, and being simplified to make. Well, that's because what they do is they slow down certain samples to make a more creepy effect. So he is right in some ways. It is easy to make jungle music if you've got the samples or whatever. So all you need to do is stretch commercial samples, which they used to do before they put copyright on the aim and break and from sampling from other people's music. And obviously you can make a dark or a deep underground track pretty quickly. So he is right, but obviously he has his own theory of his own sort of music. He prefers the fresh, clean stuff that's made without using other people's music, you know, that's started from scratch, you know, in a more difficult, complicated, complex way. So for the style of music he's into, he is actually right there. But there are just some people like myself that do like the simplified, you know, music. So I guess it depends on your taste buds, really. But when it comes to the actual making of the music, he is actually right when it comes to the difficulty and the easiness of making old drum and bass and new drum and bass, basically. Well, old drum and bass is basically old school jungle. Drum and bass is a lot different. But it still had the aim and break in the modern drum and bass that was changing into jump up back at that time. It's just switching over into jump up. We're back into busy areas, so I've just had a photograph taken on me, and he asked his 2 little children if I looked at the children, and they said no to his daddy, because he said if he did, I would have gone out and fucking knifed him, thinking I was Savan. Right, so it's been a bit of a piss take the last 5 minutes or so. Head case, beat him up. He molested children. Fucking pervert said. Scooter and boner and bike. And basically just being choked by catalytic converters set up in loads of black and blue and sick white cars, around about 120 in total. Right, spit talking and I'm trying to buy a sandwich and he's spit talking all over me, phone rings at me, danger people, and basically more spit talking at me, had a massive queue. Talking goes in my eye, can't do nothing about it. He's a fucking sick punk cunt paedophile. Beat him up, fucking bash him in, said. I'm gonna knock you out, you fucking paedophile, said. Right, I bought a toasted roll, but because the queue was so fucking hectic in there, I couldn't get it cooked, so I'm gonna have to eat it raw. I mean, it's not gonna affect the taste too much, it's just something to eat for, you know, half-hour time or whatever, but, you know, you can't even get in there. They're doing it on purpose. They're trying to force everywhere to be packed, busy, or everyone into my direction, all at the same time in a purpose-controlled way. With pre-planned noetic science, programming, to program everyone's movement to be controlled all around me, to cause fucking trouble, and to make everything fucking awkward. What I'm trying to say is just a very, very unlucky recording. I keep on fucking up. I've wasted a battery trying to do this one fucking threat. Alright? So I've been at Nine Springs, I left a cafe and I continued walking across the path where everyone walk, before cutting off to where the bowling is at the other end. But firstly, in that area, I had some threats. Right, so firstly you had a man aged about 28. He was a bearded type person, a rough looking type person, a hard looking type person, and had a baseball cap on. He had a girlfriend who was aged 22 to 23. She had very soft, smooth skin, a blonde type, and they had 2 kids. So one aged about 3, who was a boy, and a girl who looks basically similar to the mother, aged about 6 or 7. So that's the 2 people that started on me. So firstly they photographed me, and I wasn't very happy about it. And then they said this. He said this, sorry. He said, it's probably him that done that, Savan the fucker. So he said it like that, a bit more toned up than how I'm saying it, but that's what he said. And then he said this, fucking child rapist, report him, I don't mind lying against the judges in court as long as that bastard is down. So he said that, and then his missus, the sexual smooth skin lady, said, that's Savan alright, and did it in like a drug accent sort of way. Anyway, when I get to the end of that path, I'm choked by a catalytic converter setup, a blue car timed initially, and then I've had to put up with a crow saying fuck your, well, I'm not exactly happy with what it's saying, but it's been repeating something that's not a good suggestion, and it's done that about 50 or 60 times. Crow just repeats saying slice your wrist. Crow's taking a fucking biscuit. It's repeating fuck you or whatever, but it's also saying that person's name. I mean, when it comes to family or friends or whatever, I don't like giving names or mentioning this sort of information, but it's you can't help what's coming out by the animals. It's just corrupt. I'm recording just to see if there's any animal sounds I can get recorded. I'm not going to keep it on too long. I just want to see if it's going to say anything else, because it keeps on it keeps on stopping every time I push stop on the recording, and then it starts again. So it's done in a way where you push record, it comes to a sudden stop, you push stop, it suddenly happens again. It's always been the same. Whatever is causing it has an intelligence to disguise it and to try and get me to fail with evidence. I was just about to stop it then too. After all this pissing about trying to phone people or leave messages regarding the incident that occurred earlier, where this bloke said I was doing something or whatever, and he wants to stand before the judges of court to try and get me in jail making up lies about me, thinking I'm Savan. Well, I tried mentioning this to several people on the phone, and the only person I could actually speak to on the phone is the home treatment team. That's the only organisation I could get hold of to actually mention this specific problem to. And initially they had to phone, when I phoned them up, they couldn't answer the phone, and I had to wait for them to phone me back. And obviously the other person I left a message on the answer machine. So that's how difficult it is to, if something serious goes on, usually a lot more serious, on the most serious things or whatever, I can't contact anybody. And when I'm just leaving a general message, they're always answering the phone. So, just the way it is. There has been quite a few loud bikes, I forgot to mention that, so we're looking at about 15 loud bikes tied to an erection in the last 25 minutes. There's been a family, there's been a Lisa Pike lookalike in my direction. However, there's also the child of that specific family that walked past had a Lisa Pike lookalike child as well, that looked similar to how Lisa Pike looked as a child, at a younger age than when I knew her. And the reason I know what she looks like as a child is because she showed me some school photographs once of her as a child. And she didn't just show me, she showed everyone in the class. She just fancied bringing them in to show her her good days out or whatever, and family, and wanted to let everybody know in those times. If I was to describe what Lisa Pike looks like, obviously she wouldn't have looked like that prostitute that scammed me of £800 nearly, doing a few moves on me, filming it to try and get money out of me for the old neighbour to move out or the new neighbour to move in, one of the two. Anyway, whatever it is, that specific lady was only aged about 22. I don't know the exact age, I'm just going by appearance. She looked around about the age of 22. Well, Lisa Pike, believe it or not, even though Lisa Pike's ugly and negative attraction to me, because I'm not the sort of takes to that type, I still think that Lisa Pike was more attractive than that prostitute at the age she was at, when she was the age that prostitute was. And she definitely had smoother skin than that prostitute had, that scammed me, who called herself Jeanette, but some people are claiming that her name is Catalin. However, I ain't got a clue what the person's name is. She was just there to scam me, and it was a setup. And a conversation in the doorway of where I used to live was saying it's done that to be nasty, done to be spiteful, knowing that he's never had anyone taking the piss out of him, and they just want to cause trouble, and that's what the reason is for this specific lady that was pretending to be a prostitute on Viva Street, which I no longer use because that section's been taken off, because new laws and new regulations means prostitution is no longer legal in the UK, and the same applies for escorts and massages. So that's all ended now. But anyway, Lisa Pike is basically looks very similar to how Isabel Simpson on Britain's Got Talent looks, but with a more plain appearance than how Izzy would have looked, and maybe slightly rougher looking skin, if that's the right interpretation to use. She also had not too much of a difference, so she sort of had slightly fatter cheeks in the face, but not too much, and her eyes were slightly lined across, but not lined across to a point where it goes into like a really sort of negative looking type person, if you know what I mean. The ones that look like, I don't know what you name them, but when you see these really awful looking people on dating sites, they got like lined cross eyes that go right across in both eyes, like a real fat cheek, look like they're really fat, and you know, the sort of type that people when they look really ugly. Hard to describe really. She doesn't look that terrible, but she's definitely a sort of person that I classify to be negative attraction. Other people might have had different theories. Some people have relationships not because of the way they look. But for me, there's no way you'll get me fancying Lisa. Even at the age of 28 to 32 in that specific photograph I got, which I took from her Facebook, people were thinking she was 50. And obviously she sort of looked like she had greasy face, greasy hair. I mean, she could have done it on purpose. She could have been in a mood and dressed herself up to look as ugly as she wanted, but it's up to her how she dresses. I mean, I don't insult people, but for me, I'm just not attracted to that type. But anyway, all I wanted to mention is that the history of that specific picture, and these people walking past, and what Lisa Pike used to look like, really. I will mention something. The last 15 years, it wasn't happening so much in Bridgewater, but the problem is, when I was in Bridgewater, all these sexual types of people were in relationships or were with someone. Me actually walking into a single lady hasn't occurred. You're looking at 2003 before I've walked into sort of single ladies or sexual looking ladies that don't think I'm a sick bastard or anything like that. Most of the people I sort of see are either aged under the age of 18 and like strict, malicious, nasty, sour accent, snobbery, dry and sarcastic, evil accents that have got you down as a sick cunt. Otherwise, apart from that, unless it's someone who's in a relationship that's a rough looking or a negative looking, it's very rare I see anyone at all that's female in the age gap of around about the age of 18 up to almost 40. There seems to be an area where that sort of age gap between, say, 18 to 20, say 20 to 40, so the people in their 20s and 30s, I hardly ever see. When I do see people like that, it's always the negative type or the serious type. When it comes to the sexual type, or the nice looking type, or the friendly looking type, you're looking at a good 15 years ago before I last sort of walked into that type. There was a couple of occasions going back to before 2016 where I walked into people at Burnham-on-Sea, but they were in sexual relationships. But actually seeing these types of people where they actually smile or see you as a nice person or think that you look good looking or whatever, you're looking at a good 15 years ago before I was walking into these types of people. Nowadays you don't walk into anything like that. They always seem to block out that specific age group. So when I'm walking into that sort of, but when it comes to roughneck types of people, like nasty males, I'm always walking into those types. But you might get the occasions where you walk into these sorts of sexual types of people, but they're always with these nasty rough types. So I just find it interesting. This isn't not always the case or every day, but there's never more than a couple of times or a few times in a month, sometimes none, where you actually see someone in their 20s or 30s that's sexual looking at you pass. And that's been the same for the last 15 years. But a dog saying you're a sick cunt, child molester and stuff like that. But I want to continue what I was saying on the previous video. So basically, now I'm in my 40s, it's basically too late anyway for people in their 20s and 30s. So why they've been fucking about stopping me walking to people in their 20s and 30s over the last 15 years, I'm now having the piss taken out of me, told I'm a sick cunt if I don't fancy a granny, and obviously they're probably going to start increasing the lookalikes, these sexy people in their you know, in their 20s and 30s in my direction, deliberately, to be spiteful. Basically, the government are making it clear that the only sex I'm getting is people that raped me as a child, and they're making it clear that I should have been in a relationship with someone that sexually abused me as a child, and because I'm not with that person, and because I failed to kick Jesus Christ out of me in their term, their language, their suggestion, what they're saying that you enjoyed the sex, you got your spirit out, you got his spirit out while enjoying sex being raped as a child. And because that spirit didn't open the door and come out and cause a supernatural occurrence to like a doorway to heaven, they're making the suggestion because me being raped as a child didn't make the doorway to heaven, that I'm being ripped to pieces and having my fucking wrist sliced to be taken apart in every fucking life and destroyed. That's their answer to the stupid setup of sexuality. And then they nail me as a sick cunt because I won't fancy a granny, and telling me and taking the piss out of me to tell me to be with people that raped me as a child, doing it in a stupid way. And a far-fetched way, you know. There's nothing you can do about it. And more recently, they've been making the suggestion, no problem, when they do it. They say, when you've been molested as a child, they're just coming up saying, no problem, there's not a problem, there's no problem with that. And then they just belt a load of setups on top of that after telling me that, to say I'm the sick bastard and being ripped to pieces because I want to fancy someone that's not an old granny. So yeah, they're getting nasty about it at the moment with the setups. But if we go back to is it 2022? Well, actually, just before I moved from Burnham-on-Sea, this occurred actually. They started making a suggestion, or was it just when I moved to Yeovil? I can't remember. As soon as I hit my 40, I think, so at 39 or 40, they were saying or applying that any sex at all, whether it's with someone older or someone younger, that when you reach the age of 40, you don't have sex full stop, and that you're a sick bastard. You have sex with anyone regardless of what the age is of that person. They were getting nasty, I mean really nasty about that, if we go back to early 2022 in particular. So yeah, they're just getting nastier and nastier. And also they're accusing me of being in a sexual relationship with Amy Weston, but they don't give a fuck. They've changed the setups since the lockdown. We had these nasty lockdown setups, and then obviously after the first lockdown, it's just got a lot more malicious, much more nastier and much more heavier. Right, it's 15:15 midday, so I'm getting a little bit pissed off because there's been about another 200 sounds in the last 15 minutes or just under of a crow and a dog barking, telling me I'm a child molester, telling me that I've had Amy Weston, telling me that I'm a rapist, telling me I'm a sick cunt, telling me I'm being nice, telling me I'm being beat up, telling me to have sex with people that raped me as a child, telling me to fuck other people's names that are not good, and just going on like that basically, and I get a bit pissed off of it. As soon as I stop this, it comes to a stop. Let's see what that dog... I'll go back this way. I want to see if I can get audio of it. I mean, it doesn't usually mess up. It usually stops when I push record. Hang on. But that dog's making a very suggestive sound at the minute. You know, it's come to a stop, hasn't it? Yeah. You see, it's very clever the way God works. Every time you push record, it comes to a stop. To the split second you push stop, it all starts again. It works very sly in the way these voice sounds occur. It always has done. But if we go back to sort of 2006, 2007, 2008, God wasn't so clever to stop it on time to... God's fucking up this time, hang on. I think what's happened is God thinks I'm stopping the recordings and read it. God's definitely turned, I tell you that. These animal voice sounds are getting unbelievable. Ever since December 2022, these animal voice sounds have increased. In the year 2022, there wasn't many loud bikes tying to an erection. But as soon as we hit 2023, these loud bikes hit record-breaking amount tying to erections. Now, obviously, the police and the government of 10 Downing Street in the UK were not very happy because I was mentioning there's texting them, leaving messages regarding loud bikes tying to erections and making the suggestion that I'm getting them a boner over whoever. I won't give names because I don't want to cause issues, but that's what it was back at the time and why I was moaning about it. and the fact that they were doing something else before that. They were timing a lookalike to a specific person tied to an erection. So it wasn't like a school teacher that raped me as a child, but they did time somebody in my direction. They were doing that initially before the loud bikes to erections, before making a storyline of vehicle names to make a suggestion of this person, a bike means this person or something like that, and then sort of dragged it on like that from there on when it came to the loud bike issue. But anyway, this is not to mention the loud bikes, this is to mention animal voice sounds. Well, I used to put it on cassette tape. I posted them to the BBC once and they wanted to contact me to have a discussion, and said that they'd gone through the recordings and they said this is quite serious information, would you like to come to an interview? And I thought to myself, there's no way I can accept that. I didn't want to go into that, I just wanted to let them know that I had the tapes. From there on I went on to digital audio recordings, managed to get a few recordings, but shortly after, when we came to sort of 2008 area, the creator god was deliberately being sly, stopping me get the recordings, disguising everything. So as soon as you push record, the animal sounds stop. As soon as the battery goes flat or you push stop, the animal sounds start again. And it's all spiteful, it's all nasty, it's all insulting. And even when I nearly broke my neck, when I slipped onto my bed, early hours one morning, I had a couple of drinks. I didn't hold, I bumped back, hit the head on the base of the bed when I was living at Bridgewater West Street. And as soon as that occurred, seagulls went ah ha ha ha, crow went ah ha ha, and there was a load of voice sounds coming from animals that suddenly started at that time as a whole outbreak suddenly. So God's turned, and that's a fact. And when look, just this minute in time, listen, look, it's coming on me. Fucking bird shit. Oh well, I'll go back the other way. Fucking brilliant. There we are, that's another example. Well, I've been to church, you know, and as I was saying earlier, or said on other recordings, I've gone for 3 years to the church before I gave up 1 year ago, and my life just got worse and worse. In 2022 I was being photographed from 50 to nearly 200 times in one day. Same for the threats, and because I'm being mistaken as Sven and a rapist, I'm getting a whole load of trouble, especially 2022. 2023 wasn't good, but 2022 is the worst year ever. And then obviously 2024, which we're in now, is starting to get nasty as well, but it hasn't initially been that bad until now. It's only just starting now. But, you know, what can you do about it? Dogs barking, busting in. And then it stops when, you see, I can't get the evidence. I'm pushing stop and the bastards, and God's causing it to stop. Child molester Justin, kind of a voice sound, it wasn't really that clear, but yeah, keep stopping. I'm just gonna have to accept it, and accept that he's making the voice sounds, God's causing it. Just a nasty bastard piece of shit, isn't he? The creator, Jehovah, Yahweh, or whatever it is. It's got to be. I mean, look, I can't believe it. It's just getting worse and worse, these voice sounds. Obviously that's turning into normal barks now, but before I push record, it's going off on one again. Right, basically, as I stopped the recording, animals are telling me to fuck someone that sexually abused me as a child and made a woo whistle, which I didn't manage to get, unfortunately, because I didn't push record in time, but oh well. No, God's going to disguise it, there's nothing I can do about it. Right, there's been 5 fucking minutes of persistent voice sounds and a loud bike tied to erection 4 times, with one just fading away now. So I'm just seeing whether God actually does, whether I can actually capture it. Because once again, it's all come to a stop. But this is 4 sounds that have come to a stop. 2 bird tweeters have stopped suddenly as I push record. A crow stopped, and the dog's barking stopped. There's the crow, but it's gone back to normal. There's the dog was barking earlier, but there's louder than this and there's clearer than this. God's slyly disguising it. He thinks he can get away with ripping me to pieces and fucking disguising it. That's what he thinks he can do. And sexuality, by the way. But anyway, I'm about to hit a catalytic converter hot point, so no matter what I do, I'm going to have to end this recording shortly because I'm going to go into better territories of going home. I should probably go to the shop before I go home, so obviously there's going to be more trouble that I'm going to be letting you know about. But yeah, all because of these stupid fucking voice sounds coming from animals, I've had my day fucking wrecked, so I'm going home. I just can't take it, I'm just not in the mood for it. I just not in the mood for it. It's sunny, I don't like sunny weather as it is. And I just got to put up with a fucking crow or dog telling me to fuck people that raped me as a child, or telling me I'm a sick cunt, or telling me I'm being knifed dead. The same as for it. I just in the same way as fucking. I'm just not in it. There we are, catalytic converter hot point. Oh, a sexual motorbike tying to erection. Fuck's sake. Right, now it's time to cross. Catalytic converter, yes. Very fucking funny down in street or whoever's causing it. Exactly. And there's also a bike coming down. One of my feet has decided to become sore from walking. That's convenient. So I'm not very happy about that. Right, they stepped a vehicle set up, but they're doing it while there's a load of animal voice sounds, dog barks and crows making sounds. They're doing it on purpose. The government don't want me to get the evidence. So it's not just God, but the government don't want me to get the evidence at all. So obviously the sound is starting to die down now. But for the first minute I was coming to here, there's a load of voice sounds coming from animals. Got your usual black and blue, white, sick cars, sexuality, couple of bird tweet sounds. At the moment normal. And kind of it sounds like a pedo, but it's just, you know, it's not clear. It needs to be a lot clearer than that before I can classify it as being a voice sound. It keeps on stopping every time I push record, you see. That's the problem. No, I just can't get it. But what I will say is there's a couple of recordings that I've had in the past where I've actually had to take it off of YouTube and Facebook because it's upset a family member. Even though it's not, you know, animals can't talk, it's that clear that this specific voice sound offended a family member. So I had to take it off of YouTube and Facebook. And this goes back to 2015, I think it is. I turned the car over a drain cover loudly as I walked to it, and hang on, that's Tim. Actually, it's one of the people that goes to the church that's driving that car. Oh well. I probably won't get the evidence because it keeps stopping every time I push record. But there's been a load more voice sounds that have occurred. But this voice sound problem's been going on for many years. It started in 2006, but there was a time where it occurred back in 2003, and when I was about 5 years of age, I was on Burnham Beach, or one of the beaches, with Robert Dando, who was my uncle before that side of the family departed from my side of the family, just over 10-15 years ago, something like that. And a seagull came under me and said bastard very clearly. I'll take that away. I can't say anything at the moment because there's people walking past, but there's another section and something else I wanted to mention. Well, I've had a paedophile break-in, and I've been photographed by them as well, unexpectedly. Right, now I've been photographed. Oh, the battery's fucking gone flat again. The third battery, or fourth battery, and they're just fucking heavy tracking the process. Well, I'm way past those people now. What I was going to say is, when I was being sexually abused as a child, crows and seagulls will go oh, 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 or doing stupid laughs, or go woo, and you know, like that, persistently. At times I was being sexually abused as a child, and that's when I was only, like, you know, very young. So Jesus Christ probably turned against me before I was fucking born. I don't know, but either way, I'm getting a little bit pissed off at today's voice sounds by animals and whatever. It just doesn't stop, it just goes on and on. It'll be interesting to see who's on up shift when I get back. I'll just give you the date and time. Let's see, you know, today's date. Where the fuck is the phone? Hang on. So it's the 12th of the 4th, 2024. It's 12:42 p.m. and there's a Hannah van, so that's the name of one of the staff workers. So be interesting to see if that's what staff worker is on, because I don't have a clue. I haven't looked on the board. No one's told me who goes in. I rarely go to the staff office. Just interesting to see if it really is Hannah that's on this evening. Just worth mentioning. It's not a problem. It's not no suggestion or anything like that. It'd just be interesting to see who's on. Right, a snake has just decided to a small snake has just decided to come and bite my shrimp unexpectedly. There's traffic on that road picking up, I must say. A load of black and blue, white, sick or whatever. As I was saying earlier on, I forgot to mention that I keep on stopping and recording every few seconds. Should keep it going when I'm speaking, but be interesting to see if the step up. I'm only going back because of this reason of the animal voice sounds. I'm getting pissed off at it. I don't want to put up with that all day, so there's no other plan I got for today, because it's a sunny blue sky day and it brings out everybody. It brings out my enemies in particular. However, a lot of people are coming out on cloudy days where it's sunny every single day, so this causing problems every day I go out now. Actually, I was wrong with the name of this hill earlier. It's actually Summer House Hill. That's the name of the place I was trying to say when I was coming up from Nine Springs earlier, after I left there. So it wasn't Charterhouse Hill or whatever it was I said. Then again, I keep getting confused with names, or Wyndham Hill, whatever it was I said. Right, I leave the gate. First lot of 6 lots of gliding already, as you can see. Yeah, this is the 7th lot of gliding. Right on. I just fucking look, belting the fucking traffic at them, doing it purposely. Right on. So I'm going to try and cross, see if I can get that through. And I'm going to stop recording because it's getting dangerous now. There we go, it's that. So the next gliding. Next gliding. Gliding again on the next car. Yeah, the government won't fucking stop it. They stepped up their setups, as you can see. Right, so we're on the next load of colliding on the corner. There's sick grey. So yeah, there we are. I haven't even got to the bridge yet. This is one of the worst of times. Except I've actually got it filmed today. There are more coming. Right, so I've been straight back catalyst. And now we're getting the words on here, of course. Right, so we've got black and blue, grey, white. So we've had, what's it called, what the name of the vertical. I needed to mention this. You know, on the corner where I usually go towards the path, I need to put a car up, make my bike to erection. The next motorbike to erection. Right, so forward line train, no, sorry, started car. Drains it over, obviously got to be rough people on my path, because obviously the government needs to knock me off. Roadkill and rent-a-kill, very fast plan. Government jumper, turners, tanker, drains it repeatedly. Fart smell bogus, and then I'll fucking knock him out, said. I made it back home, but I've got to put up with dog telling me I'm a child molester. Nothing I can do about it. I'll come back to avoid the voice sounds, and God's being corrupt. 13 roughly, loud bites to erections, and a dog's barking claiming I raped Callum, who is Amy Weston's brother. With other sounds, obviously.